Welcome to Money Ballist, a channel where we discuss successful businesses and people. Sit back and enjoy. We saw in the last video how Coke became a worldwide brand, one of the most recognized in the world. We can learn a lot from their success. So let's ask ourselves, what made an ordinary drink, a product that is basically sugar and water, into a successful brand and product, selling millions of drinks around the world? Let us assume that we want to build a company like Coca-Cola. To ensure our success, we need to ask the right questions. But first, we need to break it into components. Of course, the major component is the brand. We obviously need the product as well. And finally, there is its marketing. So, we want to build a world-renowned brand. Why is that? What advantage will it give us? Here's another question we must answer. If we have a simple product that really anybody can copy, more or less, how do we ensure people will buy our product? A competitor could easily make a similar product and sell it for less, and we would be out of business. How do we market the product to people? Why do they need this product? To get some answers to these questions, we have to understand some psychology. There are two concepts we will look at first: classical conditioning and operant conditioning. Classical conditioning is the concept that we respond to certain stimuli in an involuntary way. It's our natural response. When a dog sees food, it salivates. Furthermore, we can be conditioned to associate a separate, unrelated occurrence to the stimuli. A dog hears a bell before it is shown the food. After some repetition, the dog associates an inedible bell with the food. Over time, even when the food is not presented, only the sound, the dog still salivates at the sound. The sound now has the same effect as the food. Operant conditioning is similar, but the focus is on voluntary behavior that receives a consequence. Give a dog a treat for sitting down, soon the dog associates sitting down when told to with a reward. This satisfying reaction encourages the voluntary action. Both conditioning results in an association, but they work differently. To put it simply, classical conditioning involves a stimulus that results in an involuntary reaction, and operant conditioning involves a voluntary behavior that results in an external reaction. Of course, there's more to all this, but I'm keeping things brief. If you want to know more about classical and operant conditioning, I'll leave a link in the description. It is quite fascinating. Understanding this, we can start to see how a brand is created. That's the key word, created. A brand has to be created, because essentially it is a name. With no context, a name is just words. So it has to be infused with meaning and associations. As it is built up, it gains more characteristics and details. The best brands push this to the extent that the brand has an identity. When you think about Coca-Cola, you might at first think about a refreshing drink. Thinking further, you can think how you would buy the product for a social gathering. Maybe you'd buy to have one with your friend, or to thank somebody for helping you. Perhaps you think about people around the world drinking it. What about BMW? You might think of driving a fancy car. You could think of feeling dignified and respected driving down the road. Maybe there's a beautiful woman or man with you. Or maybe you're hauling your kids from your big modern home. These aren't random thoughts. You might not realize it, but these are associations that have been created by these companies. They have generated good feelings, lust, and desire. Overall, they create a positive attitude towards the brand and products. They induce you to feel that if you buy their brand, you can achieve the associations and rewards that they promote. So how did they do this? A combination of classical and operant conditioning, and perhaps a few other concepts. That's where the product and marketing come in. The operant conditioning focuses more on the reaction you receive from using their product. Coca-Cola combines a few factors in their product to reward its drinker. I'll start with the most important in my opinion: the refreshing taste and effect. A combination of ingredients in the right balance and an insistence that it be served cold. Just think of any time you drank a cold Coke and felt that cool, refreshing buzz. That stays with you. You remember that reward, especially when you are thirsty and hot again. Next is in the taste. The sugar or sugar alternative is an instant reward. They cause dopamine release, making us feel good and rewarding us. The sweet taste tells the brain that it is a good source of fuel and energy. The caffeine stimulates the drinker increasing alertness, decreasing tiredness, and creating a positive feeling. From a visual aspect, the drink has a similarity to wine, which gives it a sense of a superior drink. All these aspects work together to form a combination of conditioning factors, creating a strong reward for the customer. This becomes very effective, as this reward cycle causes powerful habits to be formed. Customers can find themselves routinely using products without thinking much of it. Charles Duhigg discusses this concept in detail in The Power of Habit. Now, the classical conditioning focuses more on the marketing. Coca-Cola created ads that depict, for example, a beautiful woman holding a Coca-Cola. When a man sees the woman, he experiences a natural response. Naturally, he associates the product with his response, and of course now wants the product. How about an ad that depicts a happy family sharing a meal together? A viewer comes to associate Coca-Cola with a happy family, or it could be a relationship between a boy and a girl. How about a merry Santa Claus or a cute polar bear? The options are almost endless. Coca-Cola was able to associate their products and brands with good feelings, by understanding what humans enjoy most. Of course, the marketing classics have been around for a long time. Beautiful women, supercars, and pets. It goes a lot further though. Brands use cleverly placed items, lighting, and music to create a specific feeling and atmosphere in the adverts. For example, Coca-Cola adverts usually have a sense of excitement and happiness, usually with bright lighting and fast-paced music. Whiskey brands usually create a feeling of superiority and class in their adverts. Luxury car brands often create similar atmospheres. They do this by using darker lighting and slow-set music. Personally, my favorite adverts contain comedy. They get the viewer laughing, relaxing the viewer, and creating a warm, positive feeling, which of course is then associated with the brand. It's important to note that this conditioning does not only involve adverts. Packaging, logo design, and the product also cause associations. As we can begin to see, what results is an identity infused with attributes. This is not so different to the identity of people we know. When you think about a person, you're largely thinking about the details you know about the person, the way the person makes you feel, and the history of your relationship. This brings us to two more aspects involved in brand creation: familiarity and social proof. Familiarity is knowing the brand well. The more consumers are exposed to a brand, the more familiar it becomes. Even a simple billboard with the logo has a major effect. Additionally, since repetition is necessary for the aforementioned conditioning, the brand can become familiar very quickly. Increased familiarity contributes to trust being formed. When a customer is unsure what to spend their money or time on, they want something or someone they can rely upon. That is why reputation is extremely important to a company. Social proof is our tendency to copy what people are doing. It is specifically strong when we are unsure what to do. Say you are at a restaurant and the waiter asks what drink you want and you are uncertain. Everyone at the table so far has ordered a Coke, so you order one too. With so many product options to choose from every day, we are often unsure what we should buy. Social proof nudges us towards what most people are doing. It feels like the better option, though we often don't know why. This means that a brand increasing in popularity is self-perpetuating. As more people buy the product, it induces other people to buy the product, and so on. These factors have been really important to Coca-Cola, especially when they first started selling. As we saw last video, they created free coupons to get the name out. They needed familiarity. They further sent out all types of items like clocks, napkins, and coasters containing the Coca-Cola logo. As Coca-Cola became more popular, they gained traction. That self-perpetuating behavior began. Additionally, originally they were only being sold at soda fountains, where people would gather. If majority of people at the soda fountain were drinking Coca-Cola, guess what you would be drinking? So it is no wonder Coke's popularity exploded, and by the turn of the century they were selling in every state in America. This gave Coca-Cola a major advantage. Social proof was always in their favor. There's one last question to answer. Just how crucial is having a brand infused with all these principles? It can depend on the company. A company like Coca-Cola relies on it. This is because the product itself is easily replaceable. It is just sugar, water, and some flavoring. If a competitor came along, replicated it and sold it for cheaper, they would be in trouble. So it's crucial to create a strong brand to make it irreplaceable. If you drink a competing product, well, it's just not Coke, it's just sugar and water. To use Coca-Cola's phrase, Coke is it. This is called a brand moat. Just as a moat would protect a castle from enemies by making it almost impossible to cross, Coca-Cola protects the company by means of an immense brand. Okay, that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you haven't seen the previous video on Coke's history, check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. We'll be taking a look at Richard Branson, so hit the bell button to ensure you are notified when the next one is released. Until next time.